James Helder for IFL TV in association with Macklin's Gym Marbella. I'm here today at Ricky Hatton's gym with me. Ricky Hatton, what's happening, Rick? How are you?
Again, mate.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Now the main reason we're here obviously is to talk about Floyd Mayweather versus Maidana. So I got Remchenko again.
You're fucking mad,
Obviously, out of all the people in the UK, you've probably got the best experience, obviously, on that subject with sharing the ring with Floyd Mayweather. Now, what do you think Maidana can do differently from the first fight going into this second fight, Rick?
That's the thing. That's the thing. I don't know if he can do anything differently. You know, Maidana is what he is. Very good fighter, very big hitter, good pressure fighter. If you're asking me, you know, could his tactics change a little bit more from the first fight? No, I don't think so. I certainly think Floyd Mayweather's can. You know, but no. I think the big question will be, you know, how much has Floyd Mayweather got left? I think he's got plenty left. I think he just had an off night. Maybe took the fight a little bit too lightly after being in so many mega fights. And I think Mayweather will come back with a bit between his teeth, wanting to, you know, put in a real performance. So I think Mayweather will have his strategy and have a different game plan and a different approach to it. Maidana, I think, is, forgive me for saying, a little bit what you see is what you get. I can't see how Maidana will alter his game plan too much.
I think looking back at it, the kind of style of Maidana is kind of, I think your style was kind of quite similar in terms of pressure to Maidana, but you was a lot more polished and refined as a boxer. I think landing cleaner shots and cleaner work was your kind of thing. But how does Maidana try to pressure him and cut the ring off and try to get to Mayweather? How does he go about that?
Well, just, you know, he's got to be very, very good in defence. You know, he's not got to be careless. I think if there's one thing I could do if I turn the clock back in my fight against Mayweather, was not to be just put the brakes on ever so slightly. You know, just be a little bit more cautious. Use a jab first, and, you know, a feint before you go in. I think if Maidana, you know, Maidana's got to think, how can he better the performance? That's what I'd do. If maybe, you know what you see was Maidana, what you see is what you get. But if he can put a little bit of a feint here and there, come in from different angles, use a jab before he goes in, then I think maybe he could go one better. But I think Mayweather was. You know, when you think of Mayweather's fight against Alvarez, you know, his fight against De La Hoya, his fight for mine, if you like, it was a massive occasion, 2 undefeated fighters at the time. He's been involved in such mega fights. I think the Maidana one, no disrespect to Maidana, I think was a bit of a, you know, I mean, biding time fight. I think that's what Floyd would have saw it as. And I think in doing that, I think he was not quite at the races, wasn't he? And he allowed Maidana to, you know, put his pressure on and his aggressiveness on him. I think this time it'll be a lot more on song. But I think Maidana will be thinking, if I can go one better, maybe I've just got to feint a little bit more, coming from different angles, probably use a jab before I go in. But he most definitely deserves the rematch, Maidana. He's probably pushed him closer than people have done in a long time.
Do you think that's credit to Maidana, as you said, or did Mayweather have an off night? Is it catching up with him, do you think?
I don't think it is catching up with him. I think it'd be unfair of us to say that, to be honest with you, because he's, you know, how many off nights has Mayweather had throughout his career, to be honest with you? I think before the Maidana fight, I think the only off fight he maybe had was so many years ago now. If you remember his fight against Zab Judah, he struggled with Zab Judah for the first few rounds. Total different style to Maidana. But, you know, he's not had too many off nights. Normally he's been absolutely razor hot, you know, so I think it'd be unfair for us to start saying, well, he's starting slipping at the minute. I think it'd be unfair to say that. I think if Maidana pushes him close again in this fight, then I'll probably come to that conclusion, yeah.
I want to cast your mind back to December 2007, Las Vegas MGM Grand fight week. What can you remember from that build-up? What sticks out in your mind?
Yeah, it was brilliant. It was a brilliant build-up. You know what I mean? It was massively exciting. You know, you fight the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. You know, when I turned professional, I had a dream of becoming world champion, and I did that 4 times. You know, in 2 weight divisions. So I'd already gone above and beyond my wildest dreams. But if I could have, you know, beat Floyd Mayweather on that night, I'd have probably become the first Briton ever to be like #1 pound-for-pound. You know, that's how big a fight it was, and we had the 24/7 cameras following us here, there, and everywhere. You know, and it was massively exciting. And I definitely, you know, wasn't there just for the payday. I'm just grateful of the opportunity. I generally thought I was going to beat him. And there's one thing I look back, the build-up was great, seeing all the fans, you know, when you land at the MGM Grand, the fans all turning up at the main entrance. It was just like, you know, we're in Floyd Mayweather's hometown. It was just something else. But with the build-up and all the cameras and the things following from me, I think it did get to me a little bit. I think if you remember at the weigh-in, I lost it, and it's very uncharacteristic of Ricky Hatton. You know, he put his head on me, and I went for him and gestured, giving that sort of gesture, and it's totally out of character to me, which proved that maybe he did get under my skin a little bit. And when you look at the way I fought, I was so aggressive. I wanted to, you know, it was like he'd nicked me dinner money. You know what I mean? It was, you know, I was so aggressive. I think it did wind me up a little bit. You know, and I find, and people must find it hard to not be wound up by him, because he is a nuisance. But that's he's the full package. He knows how to get under your skin. You know, he's a master of defence. You know, he's you know, when you go back through history, there's not many that I will think that are better than him, to be honest. And I hope everyone shares my opinion of that. You know, with people like Muhammad Ali, who would always be remembered for the greatest for different reasons. But when you look anyone but Bob Bear, you got the Sugar Ray Leonards, Sugar Ray Robinsons, people like that. I think he's in that bracket, you know. So to push him as close as they did, and all got round, knocked out the 11, but for maybe 5 rounds, he was a bit with nip and tuck. You know, I'm quite proud of my performance when you look what he's gone on to do from there on in.
Was it quite frustrating from your point of view, chasing him down the whole time, and then with the referee Joe Cortez on your case so much, obviously with the point deduction? Did that kind of frustrate you a bit more?
Well, it did frustrate me. You know, I don't want to bore anyone to death. You know, when you know Ricky Hatton, oh, he's going on about that referee thing again. I think if you're a boxing fan and you know your boxing, and you've seen referee Joe Cortez referee before, and maybe me fight against Castillo, you know, he was breaking me up, you know, uncharacteristically for him, you know. So it was a lot of things at stake, you know, a lot on the line, a lot of pressure on, you know. He was nailing me from a distance, so and early on in the fight, so I thought I've got to get close to him. And then when I did get close to him, I thought I wasn't allowed to thing, and then I wasn't allowed to work. So then, I can't remember, it was when he took a point off me, I turned him. He was ducking very, very low and turning his back, and I turned him and I threw a punch. It actually missed, but I was a little bit disappointed in that as well, because I thought, normally he's not even giving me a warning first. You know, normally it's, you know, it's don't do that. That's your second warning, don't do that again, your point's coming off, and then the point comes off. He took it off me straight away, and I think you remember in the fight, I turned around and showed him my back, and I went, where do you want me to hit him? The referee went, any more of that? He said, I'll throw you out. And I said, I bet you will. But then by then, my head had gone, and you need a cool head against Floyd Mayweather, you know what I mean? You know, you've got to have 2 cool heads to beat someone like Floyd Mayweather. And when your head goes, what happens is you get knocked out, which is sadly.
Would you prefer to have Tony Weeks referee in the fight, who obviously refereed the first Marcus Maidana Floyd Mayweather fight? Well, it seemed to let him work a lot more on the inside.
Well, it did, and I think, you know, I'm not saying I'd have won the fight. I don't want to sound like this and say, listen, the only reason why I got beat by Floyd Mayweather is the referee. All I'm saying is it didn't help my case. And I think if I was allowed to stay and work inside, I think no doubt I would have been a lot better. And I was made up when Joe Cortez was made referee, because I thought, well, he lets you have a fight, brilliant. Right. That was like 1-0 to me. One thing I didn't realise though, he's from Las Vegas, Floyd's old town. I don't think Floyd would come to Manchester and let a Mancunian referee me.
That's a very valid point. That's a very valid point.
And I never thought at the time, and it never even entered my head at the time, because I thought to myself, wait, let's just have a fight, brilliant. I bet Floyd's gutted that he's the ref, you know. Well, it didn't turn out that way, did it?
Indeed. If Floyd Mayweather does a job on Maidana as expected to do, what fight do you think would cement his legacy as one of the greatest? Are we too far gone with the Pacquiao fight now? Well, is it too much spoke about for it to happen?
I think it's already cemented as one of the greatest. If you think, I can't see. I think Danny Garcia has cleaned up at like welterweight a little bit, you know, like I did. You know, I think that's why, because I beat Zhu, I beat Mauser, and then I beat Castillo and Urango. So I cleaned up in like welterweight, and then went up to welterweight. That's how I got my shot. So probably Danny Garcia deserves his shot. After, you know, we're struggling a little bit after that. He's practically beat everyone out there that is to beat. You know what I mean? If he could retire undefeated, I think that would add to his legacy. You know, his legacy is, even if he was to get beat, you know, his legacy is already cemented for what he's previously done. But I think, you know, put an extra icing on the cake, if you could do that for Floyd Mayweather, would be if he could retire undefeated, because there's not many do that. I think that would be fantastic. Yeah.
If you think what would be a more commercially viable fight, are we looking at Kell Brook, Amir Khan, maybe even Pacquiao in the mix?
Well, Kell Brook and Amir Khan makes a good fight, because you've got that United States, United Kingdom rivalry, which is always, you know, exciting. And I hope Amir, or Kell Brook for that matter, get the opportunity to fight, you know, because we went in boxing to prove yourself against the best, and he is the best, you know, and I'm sure Kell and Amir would love to get the crack at that. Not just for that opportunity, but financially for them and their families. It's, you know, so I really do hope that they do get the crack. I think if the fight with Pacquiao comes off, that's probably the best fight out there at the minute. For me, as a boxing fan, not the fact that I've fought them both. For me, as a boxing fan, I think it's lost its shine a little bit. It'll still be a good fight, but I think when Pacquiao was absolutely flying and Mayweather was absolutely flying, and they were both at the best, that was the time to fight. Now, you know, we're going, oh, has Mayweather slipped? Oh, has Pacquiao slipped? You know, I mean, it's still a good fight, but it's not quite what it was. And I'm a little bit disappointed, because they never wanted to fight each other, and I fought them both because I wanted to prove, you know, that I could be the best. And obviously it didn't work out that way. But you know, that's what you know, surely they should have just gone, let's do 50-50. And the fact that if one wants 51% and the other one wants 49%, pretty pathetic. You know, you want to prove whether you're the best or not. And the fact that, you know, money got in the way, you know, they should have just, one of them should have just swallowed the pride and said, listen, I want to find out whether I'm better than you, so I'm willing to take a little bit less. Or easier said, sat here, but you know, cause, you know, you want paid. But I think you go in boxing to try and find out to be the best, and the fact that they might not ever fight each other for pennies is a shame.
Have you got a prediction as how you see the fight going this time around? Yeah, how you see it playing out?
I think I always fancied Mayweather, to be honest with you. I think when I fought Pacquiao, I thought my preparation could have been a little bit better. I wasn't quite at my best. I'm not saying I'd won the fight anyway. What I'm saying is, you know, I wasn't at my best. But in sharing the ring with Floyd Mayweather, I was able to, you know, go 11 rounds first hand and just see how gifted he actually was. I mean, pinning him on the ropes. You know, one thing I always prided myself was I wasn't the biggest puncher in the world, but my accuracy. I could always just find that body shot and find that gap. And you know, just couldn't land on him. You know, if I did land on him, it was very rarely was it flush. He always got a little bit of a shoulder, or a little bit of a pull, or a little bit of a block on it. He really was masterful. But the way, even though Manny knocked me out in 2 rounds, the way I fight, which is always a little bit reckless, there's always a chance when you fight like Ricky Hatton that you could walk onto one, and that's what I
gung ho, innit?
Yeah, that's what I did. I won't change it for anything. You know, live and die by the sword, and I think that's why people like me, because as long as I'm in there and as long as I've got air in my lungs, I'll try and knock my opponent out, and that's what I guess people liked about me. But I would have to say Mayweather, he was absolutely exceptional, so difficult to hit. They always say, you know, the most, you know, the art of boxing is to hit and not get hit. And believe you me, he's the best of all time. Even if you don't think he's the greatest boxer of all time, as far as defensive fighters go, I don't think there's anyone better. It was really, it's only when I look back and sit here now and I go, wow, you were good, you know, from that defensive point of view. Yeah. Couldn't have hit him with an handful of confetti, to be honest with you. He was really, really good, couldn't fault him.
Let's talk a little bit about some of the fighters in the Hatton camp while we're here. Obviously you've got some big stuff going on. You're taking a fighter out to Australia in a couple of months. Vasyl Lomachenko.
Sergey Rabchenko.
Let's get that again. Start that again. Let's talk a little bit about some of the Hatton fighters in the camp. Obviously, I know you're taking Vasyl Rabchenko out to fight in Australia against Maidana. That looks like an interesting fight.
It is, yeah. You know, Anthony Mundine's probably Australia's biggest name in boxing at the minute. Very colourful character. He lost his last fight, so he's got a lot on the line. You know, he's probably fighting for his career. And Sergey's been up there on the verge of a world title now for some time. He's been #1, #2 in the rankings for some time now. And having a former world champion like Mundine's name on the record might give you that extra kick in order to to get that
Big
world
fight.
title.
It really is a big fight.
Yeah, but you know, I'm looking forward to going to Australia. I've got some wonderful unbeaten talents from Australia. Commonwealth heavyweight champion Lucas Brown, who's in the top 5 of all the governing bodies now. Damien Super Hooper, but who I think is going to be a pound for pound superstar. I really do.
I've seen a lot about him. A lot of people talking about him.
Honestly, you know, watch out for this kid. He's going to be a superstar. I really do strongly believe that. I've got Cameron Hammond, who's 15 in the world by the WBC now after only 10 fights at welterweight. Former Olympian, just like Damien Hooper. And you know, I've also got Sergey Rabchenko, I've got Xanet Zakyanov, who's number 2 in the world WBC.
He's in a big fight coming up, isn't he? In Belarus.
He's fighting in Minsk, Belarus. Yeah, he's you know, just a ticking over fight. If he is worth a ticking over fight, at the stage that Xanet's at, they're all important. But he's number 2 in the world by the WBC. You know, a European champion. And then also I've got Kirill Relik, who I also promote and train. Along with Xanet and Sergey. He's 16 fights unbeaten, 14 knockouts. He's ranked about 5 in the light welterweight rankings in Europe, so he's just knocking on the door for the title. I've got, and in the UK, I've obviously got Adam Etches, who's 16 fights unbeaten, 13 knockouts, WBC youth champion.
Very exciting fighter, Adam.
I think Adam was just about to make a splash in the, you know, and you know, he's obviously you've got middleweights in the division like Martin Murray and Andy Lee and Matthew Macklin, who are right there on the world level, but I think he's ready to break into that British top 10 now and just, you know, move into that bracket. Scott Jenkins, he's an unbeaten lightweight, 14 fights unbeaten. Anthony Upton, 4 fights unbeaten. Paulie Upton, 4 fights unbeaten.
Oh, Upton clan. How many Upton brothers actually are there? I was thinking this the other day.
I've met 4 of them. I've trained 3 of them. But
they seem like a good crack.
All very, very talented. So loads of tickets. They're all going to be champions. There's no doubt about it. I love coming to the gym and working with them every day. Great family, real tight bond, which is, you know, which is something I feel very, very proud. You know, it's nice to see a family with that type of bond. But they're a pleasure to train. So I've got a smaller stable now than what I had a few years ago. You know, when I had my dates on television and everything, I had champions galore, if you like. But I've got still got champions, you know, a fair few champions, but I've got a smaller camp that I can concentrate on. And I'm loving it. Yeah.
Squad seems to be developing nicely. You've got a lot of young fighters coming through, similar ages, kind of all looking to achieve big things in the sport.
Yeah, well, it's a nice bunch really. You know, you see the lads here in the gym here now. You got, you know, Kirill Relik, 16 fights unbeaten, 14 knockouts. Xanet Zakyanov, number 2 in the world, European champion. Sergey Rabchenko, number 1 in the world, light middleweight. You know what I mean? For the lads like the Uptons to come in the gym and train with these guys and spar with them, it's absolutely brilliant. It reminds me of when I was at Billy Graham's Phoenix camp years ago. When I was a rookie professional coming in, I was training and sparring with Carl Thompson and Steve the Viking Foster and Andy Bingham and Paul Burke and Andy Olligan. You know, you can't get that, it's priceless. You know, and everyone, you know, as a trainer, I'd say I'm a boxing person. Even though I'm a promoter and a trainer, I'm a boxing person rather than a business person. I have people that handle that side of the game for me. But everyone I train, I've got to feel something for, and every one of these lads that I train and promote for that matter, I absolutely think the world of them, and just loving it, to be honest with you. You know, I mean, you know, all over the world promoting now, you know, and I'm in the gym every day training these lads, and from where I come from, the bad times, you know, when you look at how many good times there is now, it's brilliant stuff.
What I like to see is sometimes when you've got a lad on a show, it might be even a small hall show, when you turn up with them, it's kind of like, it's just a mad feeling. A lot of the people there, obviously massive Ricky Hatton fans, so for them to get a chance to come into contact with you through one of your other fighters, it's great for the sport, really, isn't it? You
it's
know?
nice that I've got a fighter that are going to fight on the big stage, you know. I mean, when Sergey fights, Sergey Rabchenko fights Anthony Mundine, it's at the arena. It's at an arena in Melbourne. I think there's going to be about 10,000 or 11,000 there. You know? So I mean, it's like we you know, these lads. I've got fighters that are just ready to fight on the big stage. But you know, it's my first fight was Kingsway Leisure Centre in Widnes. Nothing wrong with Kingsway Leisure Centre in Widnes. In fact, that's what this is. Small shows is where I come from. So even though I'm producing champions and they're all going to be fighting on the big stage with a bit of luck, you know, I'm a boxing person across the board. I love going to them small shows, and you know, I remember going to small shows and Nigel Benn was there, and you know, Eubank and Frank Bruno and stuff like that. And if people feel the same when I go there, then it makes me feel very proud.
I can 100% say they defo do, as I said, and well done for spending so much time giving people pictures and not taking any money off anyone, because I know standing around for a long time when you're there to watch a boxing match can probably...
I can't believe anyone will want a picture of this, but you know, fair play.
Takes all sorts.
Yeah.
Takes all sorts.
Thank you, mate.
Listen, thanks for giving me a bit of time to say thanks for having me down the gym. I'm going to stick around and have a look about
Yeah,
and
anytime.
spend a bit of time with the guys and that. And I said thank you very
Anytime,
much.
mate. Cheers.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Rick.